Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hooks Gamer here. We're back with Anno 1800, guys. We are looking at Crown Falls. Obviously, you know, there's a lot that happened, you know, in the previous episodes, for sure. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this big city. But yeah, I was just checking. Look, we're approaching 200,000. We'll definitely need to get, you know, beyond that, I suppose. But yeah, in the previous episode, we were going through some of the things here in Beza, right? As you can see, this is mostly completed. There's a lot more materials that needs to come. There's a lot to do in this episode, guys. So the first thing I do want to do is to come with these guys. This guy just needs to go. Okay, and we're gonna take this island. So let's just quickly come here. I actually thought we won't do it because we can get like items and do everything on one island. However, yeah, I mean, one island seems kind of weird. So let's just go for 2, and maybe even 3 if we needed to, but 2 are fine, I feel.
Stations.
Okay, they need to get together. So I'm just gonna put them over here for now, and they'll be attacking some ships, but that's fine. Okay, in the meantime, I just want to check, because I think the Manola thing... Yeah, no, it's keep going. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. Right. So there's so many things, I don't know where to start. I always say this, though. But no, I think the most important would be to check our production. So wood... I actually figured that we're gonna take another island in... What's that place called? I always forget. King's Grove. But for the moment we're okay. Look, there's more coal needed as well. So that's not the best. So let's go ahead here. Something is being attacked, so that's okay. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna go for coal. It's about time. And I think, let me just, before I do this, these are all built, and we've 8 of them. How is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where's the 8th one? Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Don't make me click on this. Huh. Okay, well, I'll have to click. Ah! There you go. Mysterious. Yeah, I suppose I'm just gonna go like this. Is this gonna reach? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's fine. We don't need to really worry about it. And then, can we get... Oh, we could get one of those as well. I suppose we will at some point. Or maybe even now. And have that guy... I think he's been delivered somewhere. Let me just look.
Prepare for the most eagerly awaited match of the year.
Nope. Not here. Oh, actually, since we're here. Oh, I was fully sure we've got that guy, but we don't seem to. So let me just quickly make him. And I should know by now the way he looks. Nope. It says drilling rigs. I'm not understanding this term. I think what I'm gonna do is to just make him and see what he does. Because you would think it's for the oil, but who knows. Okay, so... Oh man, he's not here. There he is. Yeah, so this guy basically. All mines and cement.
This city is a magnet for genius.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got these guys. So I'm just gonna come here and place them. So let me just take this off.
Watch your step.
Just gonna... Yeah, that's okay, it doesn't matter. So there she goes. She will be now producing Arctic reports. And we just need to do it on other islands.
The fire left ruins behind.
Yep. So let's go ahead and replace this with this. I like to keep them separate, if that makes sense. This is a bomber here. But yeah, let's have one. I feel like... Okay, well that's okay. There's no need for them to be heated or anything like that. Oh, I've one extra. Okay, that's fine. And then another one here. But to be honest, we don't need it. Oh, we can't even do it anyway. That's okay. Right, and then we'll have a ship gathering those reports. But for the moment, that's okay. Okay, and then, so that's in base, no, now in base, huh? So let's come here. Ah, see, the moment we've pulled away, let's just bring one. This is so annoying. We're not even getting notification that we're being attacked, which is strange. Can you just move? Maybe two of them. Yeah, see? That's weird. Is it because of this item? Appears to be. Anyway, let's just come here. Oh, we can't even get this town hall yet. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'm just gonna upgrade these guys.
Your
Let's just keep
harbor
this
is
here.
under attack.
So this is...
Your
yeah.
island is under attack.
Here we go. Oh no. Yeah, I'm just gonna come here and start attacking this island. These ships are more than
Your
enough.
harbor is under attack.
Please don't destroy this. It's destroyed.
Will not spoil the fireworks.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep those two here
With a corsair.
because that's very annoying.
Ship under attack.
Okay guys, you wanna move along, so I'm just gonna come and attack this. They're attacking something else. Oh, they're attacking this island as well. They don't be attacking all of them. Although this one is pretty good. Let's just ram this island.
Your enemy's resistance is crumbling.
Yes.
What brutality!
Okay.
If you eat
So
it
it's
from
conquered.
inside out, I may reciprocate.
Awaiting orders.
I am just gonna annoy him. Yeah, perfect.
Strategic
So then we can reroute some of the things. But first of all, I do want to get... let's just look how big this is. Yeah, so this is big enough for this. It'll be much easier. So this would need to be moved. Moving isn't as easy. You need to have ships ready.
Ship under attack.
Stations.
Okay, you guys split and then come here. I'm not gonna take this island.
Your enemy's resistance is crumbling.
I'm just gonna annoy him
Take it. You've earned it.
and claim shares. That's it. So then he will need to buy it out and whatever. Okay, so let's just have those guys here. And one of the Amados will come here. He's chasing. Okay, so we can't renovate it until this is up.
How may I help?
That's fine. Okay guys, so what we're gonna do is, just because time's of essence here, I'm gonna jump into a time lapse. You know, once, yeah, because we now have this island, so I'm just gonna grab materials and things like that, and then go ahead and, you know, do things I need to do, and you'll see, because there'll be, I'll be bringing you along with me. Let me just though make sure that we have this island included. Like this. Just needs to be like that. And then call. Cool. So that looks good. Coal is really kind of the bane of our existence, it seems. Let's just make sure we've got that item. Oh. And we'll check this guy out as well. Because if he's good, then we can have more of him. Okay. Guys, let me just jump into a quick, well, not quick, time lapse and see what I'm at.
The people celebrate your leadership.
And definitely there is a lot to do, guys, so welcome to the time lapse. Now what we're doing is we're starting off with creating our army campus just within this island here on Crown Falls island. And guys, what we're doing is, yeah, it's gonna be a bit of how do I say this, testing ground, let's put it that way, okay? Because I never used this mod before. I'm not quite sure, you know, what kind of items are needed and what sort of buildings are available. So you know, we do have the other soldiers available in the Arctic and in the New World. However, the buildings are completely, well, I don't want to say completely different, but they are different. There's more available buildings on the New World. So the first time I saw this one, I was like, wow, you know, it's massive. I'm not quite sure, you know, yeah, it's just a massive building, and literally that's what I said to myself when I've placed it. I said, wow. And then there is this fortress that we had to place on the coast. Anyway, so I'm wiggling around because I've noticed that the general or the main office, post office, would actually fit quite nicely here. So I'm fiddling around with that, and as you can see, I'm gonna delete some things and whatever. So yeah, and because we have very constrained space, it's just one of those things, I suppose. Anyway, do you see those little thingies? I think they're called like sanitary stations or something like that. But anyway, they have a radius. So there is just this one here to the left. And I'm thinking that they need to cover the houses. They actually don't. What it is that it's collecting dung out of the, you know, the soldiers' barracks, basically. So that's something that I didn't know, and you know, found out afterwards, I presume. But yeah, so that's okay. It actually was by chance, because I was literally under the impression that they need to cover you know, the buildings themselves within the radius, but no, it's not the case. Anyway, so there you go. It's kind of a small area, to be quite honest. I didn't really know what was needed, etc., whether this is even a good spot. And you'll see me actually adjusting this a bit later. Not too many adjustments, but yeah, quite few. Now, because we have a lot of buildings, they actually require, even a warehouse requires workforce, so it's a bit interesting. But I presume at the same time it's good, because, you know, otherwise they would have been dormant, right? So you don't really make use out of those soldiers, if that makes sense. I think someone had I don't know whether it was on Reddit or somewhere I had seen, where someone asked, you know, why won't the modder introduce, you know, like a land battle, since we have soldiers. And the answer was that, you know, it's just it's not, well, I don't want to say it's not possible, but it's just you know, you need to go deep into the code of the game and whatever. So yeah, it would be, you know, I mean, it's great as it is, right? I mean, the buildings are really good. However, I think that some of them are slightly too big to my taste, especially the fortress. You'll see it at the end of this episode. Yeah, I guess maybe yeah, maybe there'll be something good about it. I don't know. Maybe it's very, you know, kind of good in terms of defense, whatever. But anyway, so I'm kind of surprised to see all these modules. I didn't realize that this academy or whatever it's the military campus as it's called, you know, that it actually kind of acts as a museum of sorts. So you place things, and I always wondered. Yeah, so this is me now checking this out. So I always wondered why the items, when you actually, you know, buy them or develop them, they have, you know, it's saying part of such and such set. And I always wondered what's that about, but now we just found out. So there's a lot of items that are required. Now, you saw me just a moment ago, I was trying to see if they maybe connect, maybe, you know, they kind of form a palace or something, but no, that doesn't seem to be the case. So this can be just a structure anywhere. And the radius of those buildings, of those towers, whatever you want to call them, affects the productivity of the actual production building. So that's very, very interesting mechanic. The only thing about it is that you kind of want to be careful where you're placing this. I mean, careful in a way of, now imagine having those buildings on the production island, like you know, or even between production buildings. I mean, I would think that it'll look quite weird. So I think this is just the idea behind it here is just to place them kind of throughout the city to affect, let's say, you know, a couple of restaurants, or you then need to be a bit more mindful in terms of how you're actually designing your city, if that makes sense, you know? Because I always go for... like, the game doesn't mind where you place things, right? So it doesn't matter if you place, you know, a big, massive factory next to a house, or if that factory is literally, you know, all the way across on the other end of the island. So it doesn't matter. So if you were to do it that way and kind of have the, you know, the manufacturing whatever between houses, then it does make sense. But I never actually done that, to be quite honest, you know, kind of in the way the AI builds things, right? They kind of have, you know, houses whatever, and then, you know, factories in the middle of them. Anyway, so I want this area to kind of look apart, I guess. You know, so I'm just adding some trees here and there. Now, there's a lot of different things that are required. They have their own production chain. This is a military campus that requires ammunition. Then there's other things that are needed, whatever. So we go through that in just a moment. So in Tabarim, we actually needed a bit more elders because the, you know, X amount of elders are required for what you call it, for the warehouses to be upgraded to the highest level. Basically, I think it's like 600 or something needed. Anyway, so we're going. I'm just checking everything else, really, what's available, what's not, and you know, how should we proceed in terms of the rest of it. And then I am now looking into having more of, obviously, you know, the required buildings. And I was just thinking, really, where should we have them? And because we don't know at this point, or I don't know at this point, you know, what those buildings are, how big they are, whatever. I'm kind of trying things out as I go, to be honest. So yeah, there's a lot of different things needed. So I've deleted the Steam ones because the Steam aren't needed, because we've so many items producing the Steam carriages, not the Steam carriages, the Steam motors, that will never need, you know, that amount. So I've deleted them. Anyway, you'll see me making more ships. I think retrospectively now, I don't want to lie, but I think I've added 20 more ships. Not just for the soldiers, but you know, for a couple of other things. So, or if not more, to be honest. I think there was even more added. Anyway, so I'm just going through the supply chain. I want to make sure, because one of the requirements is cannons, so there's a guy already delivering cannons to Kemtrolani, so that's all good. Anyway, this unfortunate square in the middle, I'm determined that we'll put something in there, but as you can see, nothing really fits. So I don't really know what to have there. Now there's this one production that annoys me. Well, it's a nice production, don't get me wrong. It's well thought out of by the modder. By the way, I was gonna say it's a great mod. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's a good addition. You know, more buildings, more variety, and that's really what you want in this game. But in terms of the annoyance, I'll come back to it in a moment, because it actually doesn't work in Kingsgrove. But it took me a while to figure it out. Because I couldn't understand it, but it just seems it's another thing that doesn't work, right? So the first thing is the sardines, that also isn't working. You actually need canned food, otherwise the alternative don't work, even though you have the option. It's just, you know, whatever is happening, it's just not working. So it'll be nice, it'll be very nice if it was fixed. Anyway, so that's that. So I am now looking at the other buildings. They're massive, which you would expect, right, from a production of weapons. So now I'm placing another building, and I realize that we already have it, the prison. I don't really know what it's for, to be quite honest. Like it's a nice building and everything. It's just I'm not quite sure what it's for. Anyway, so let's just go with the heated uniforms. That's what it's called. So then, as you can see, more ships, because I need to deliver things like goose feathers and care packages and whatever. The goose feathers will actually need to add more, because we're just not meeting the demand anymore. So there you go. And I was actually thinking that you need the fertility for it, but you actually don't, so you can place it anywhere. So I didn't, well, I don't want to say I didn't know this, but I didn't realize that, I suppose, until I looked and I checked. So there you go. I'm just placing those buildings fairly. So that's actually very cool. It makes sense for all those productions to be here, especially that we've got items and whatever. So that's nicely placed, and those buildings are upgraded. So yeah, so you'll see me, I think this is 4 hours of gameplay that you actually see within, you know, within this episode. So it took me quite a while. So it's actually very interesting, because the speed is actually 4 times, as you can imagine, I guess. So it would have been shorter episode if, you know, if I didn't kind of have a bit of a start at the very beginning, but that's okay. So that's why I'm kind of I guess compacting as much as possible in this episode, and at the same time I want to kind of bring you along, right, in a way of because I could do all of this off screen, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of nice now and again just to go through all of it, and the routes, the whatever, the adding, the, you know, because there's so many adjustments. And if I was to go for 4 hours, you know, that'll be, I don't want to say boring and whatever, but yeah, it'll be a long, I would find it very, very long anyway. So it kind of makes sense to do it in a sped up manner. Right, so that's me. I just want to tell you what I'm doing right now. So just to kind of make sure that the the goose feathers are being produced out of the other things, because we have them from the skin, the seal skin, and something else, the fish oil or whatever it's called, the whale oil. I've just added a route basically where it'll be sold off, so it'll be always producing constantly, not just maxing out. And because it's constantly producing, we always have the goose feathers basically. So there you go. I am trying to figure out what's going on here because the description of it says that this covers the coal open pit, the zinc and the iron and something else, the copper mine. So I've placed it near the copper mines because it additionally improves it by 15 or 20% or something like that anyway, and then it just wasn't happening, right? And I was actually going to place this here because it's really cool, the coal open pit, because it produces quite a lot of coal as well. However, I then decided, because this island is very low on space, you know, it'll be kind of, if anything, it should be placed elsewhere, not on this island. That's basically the idea here, and we may need to go back to it. So it's actually really good that we have it because we always run out of coal. And look, we could import it, but I actually want to avoid the imports. I always use it very heavily, but I want to avoid it as much as possible. It's just because we've got a lot of money. You know, the items are crazy that we have in terms of, you know, not producing, or well, not producing, but not utilizing the workforce. It's just reducing the workforce as much as possible and whatever. Anyway, I haven't figured out what's the situation with those warehouses, the ammo warehouses that I've just placed. So I guess we'll need to kind of take a look at it. These were the routes, so I have to show you when we're not sped up, I suppose. Yeah, this is me now trying to figure this out. So I'll be clicking, reading. It's called gallon. Not quite sure what that is. I presume it's what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you convert wood into kind of coal thing, whatever. But it's like a whatever. Yeah, so I'm just trying things out because I'm confused why it's not working, and then I thought to myself in the end. Yeah, I was just now checking, maybe there's a special item, whatever, and then I thought, I bet you it's the actual region. So then I'm just gonna place it here, and you'll see in a moment that once it gets its timber, it'll affect the, yeah, there you go. So it affects now the mine. It improves it, you know, by whatever degree, yeah, and then this is the only one that we've got. So it only works probably in like the likes of Old World and whatever. So that's very interesting. But then again, you know, there's so many other mods and whatever. Nothing can be made compatible with it, with everything 100%, right? But it'll be nice if this was improved, because King's Row is actually my favorite. Well, I don't want to say my favorite, but yeah, definitely. It's just because there's a lot of islands. It's a massive map. So for what I'm doing, it's something that I really like anyway. So there you go. This affects the copper, whatever. I'm actually going to go with more of them, just to make sure that we are covering and have a lot of it, right? The surplus, quite honest, because I don't really want to be running out of it and then, you know, trying to figure out where else we can place it, if that makes sense. Anyway, so now the only thing is that the ship is needed to bring this over. I also was afraid that maybe they cause pollution. I was surprised to see that they don't. So yeah, so that's okay. You know, it doesn't matter where it is. Anyway, so we're back to this now. Obviously, I'm kind of placing these buildings without checking the, you know, the production versus consumption. But I will. But we don't have that many soldiers. You know, and to be quite honest, we only need few of them on that island, Pristine, whatever it's called, in King's Grove. So then that's something that we'll be able to place, and just I'm already routing it to that island basically. One other thing, so this, I'm just showing you actually this, because I knew I wanted to talk about it. So for whatever reason, we're actually supplying all of this, apart from the guitars, obviously, but, and it says chili. And then things like coffee and something else are listed, although they're not on the, they're listed on the pop-up menu, but they're not in the UI, if that makes sense, you know, so there's no indication of what's, you know, how much they're consuming, etc. Anyway, so now the coins, I think I forgot actually about Manola, that there are on that island as well, so I will adjust that. For the moment I only thought of, you know, the Cape Trelawney soldiers and the Arctic soldiers, so you see me adding routes to both. And there you go, I'm just checking. So one coin producer is, I guess, again because of the items, but yeah, produces just so much. Now we just need a bit more of that gallon, so I'll just come back here. I never heard of it, to be quite honest. Don't know what gallon is. But yeah, I need to figure it out what that word is I'm looking for. Anyway, so I do like the area. It definitely will need a lot of work in terms of what you call it, the ornament, right? Just to kind of close it off, whatever, because it kind of looks very unfinished, if you will. So that's something that I'm gonna do in a while. But I was actually just thinking, just looking at it, I know what further improvements can be made because of it. But yeah. So this island suffers from very little concrete. The concrete is constantly being taken away. So I will need to address that as well. For the moment, we do have you know, all the building materials in the world, apart from obviously from the concrete, but everything else looks fine. These buildings are very massive. I was actually looking at them to see, because they, you know, from afar they look the same, but actually when you zoom in, there is a lot, you know, there's a lot of differences, I suppose. But yeah, they're big buildings. So good old Manola, the soldiers require chewing gums. So that's good. I was able to finally fix the harbor. And we'll also need some brakes, so that's something that we'll need to address. I know what I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is charcoal. Yeah, charcoal, but I don't know what's gallon actually. I need to look it up. Is there even a word like gallon? Never heard of it. No, don't see anything like that. What is gallon? Or is it gallon? I don't know. I would. Yeah. No idea what gallon is. I only can find Greek anatomist. So that's not that. Yeah, anyway, I don't know, maybe that's from a different language. I can't find anything. Gallon? Yeah, that got me quite confused, but that's okay. Charcoal, let's call it charcoal. which would make sense, right? Because it's made out of coal or something. Unless it's very, yeah, I don't know, gallon coal or something. Coal bucket loader. I don't know. What am I looking for? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's leave it because I have no idea what that is. Coal bucket loader. Specifically designed and manufactured for use in applications. Yeah, okay. Well, that's about a coal bucket, not... I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's fine. Let's just leave it. Okay, so I'm back to this island. I'm actually jumping here and there, and that's the reason for this speed build. It's just because I knew this island is just so completely abandoned. Yeah, this thing now is on my mind, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this island is so abandoned, right? And so I just decided to do something about it, I presume. Now, not too many things. Don't get too excited now, but few things, right? Because it's about time. And the reason, what prompted this actually was there was a paper before that I've seen whereby one of the articles was basically, you know, that there was no what's this thing called, the bank. There was no bank in this town, so I just decided you know, to have the bank basically, because look, it's about time to do something on this island anyway. So that's basically what we're doing here. So it's not going to go through massive metamorphosis, so don't, again, as I say, don't get too excited, but it definitely will have nice bit of few things, let's put it that way. The main thing I was going to, or I am going to do, is the castle. Now the castle we won't see in this episode, because I actually didn't really know what to do with it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm just adding all the necessary buildings, if you will, just to kind of make sure that we've got the coverage, because of the mod that I've added. You know, the cemetery wasn't here or whatever, and because we have the mod, not the mod, the from the palace, you know, the extension of services to 60. We don't have to worry about you know, this and that not being covered and whatever. So as you can see, nice little area over here. I actually do like the way the track turned out. It kind of looks quite neat, and we can place a couple of things in those areas. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm just adding trees here and there, to be quite honest. I do like the way they look. You know, they give a bit of a kind of a piazza effect, I suppose. So that's what I'm going for. I probably would have liked to have a bit of a kind of a space or square in front of the bank. I guess we could delete some of the engineers to do that. Now when I think of it. Anyway, so there you go. I just figured out that we have the soldiers on this island. That's something that we need to address as well. But it's time now to supply, because I have delayed this production. I don't really understand why I have. I guess because they require Hacienda. I don't want to say Hacienda isn't my favorite, because I do like it. It's just, yeah, but I completely forgot that because we already have the buildings, you know, the Hacienda is actually fully developed, so that's much easier, rather than developing it from the start and then trying to figure out, you know, where buildings should go and whatever. So that's pretty good. And as you just saw, the entire everything really is supplied, so we have enough of it. And if not, you know, we can always get like an item or two just to increase the production. Anyway, so I just realized that the saxophones, because I was like, why are we not getting saxophones on this island? I have been collecting them from an island where they're not being produced, so basically they were not collecting. Sometimes you see where I placed a building and it's not there. That basically the game hasn't rendered the building, hasn't, you know, went through. Maybe this is partially as well because I actually keep some of the files on cloud, like my save files, just to save storage on my computer. Especially when I'm recording in 4K, whatever, the files really do get large. So just to save some space, especially with Anno, because like it's easily 80, 100 gigabytes of save files. You know, I do keep them on the cloud. So I've noticed actually that if I reload the older saves, it takes much longer to load the game because, you know, the OneDrive basically is downloading them. So that's okay. But apart from that, I always keep the latest save files, you know, locally, because obviously you wouldn't be able to do it every day. As well as that, you know, I don't really know why I'm keeping them, to be honest, but yeah, sometimes maybe just because, you know, if you want to go back or whatever, you can do that. Anyway, so I'm developing more items because more ships will be needed. As you can see, the influence points are really good because we do have you know, the thing going in Manola. Now, so this is time where we need to place our, I can't remember what's it called, Department of Transportation. Yeah, that's what it is. And this building actually will grow. So I think in the last iteration it was a smaller building, you know, just that, but now it's actually something that you grow. So it's really cool addition. I really like that. But yeah, and then I'm gonna place the subway. But I'm thinking, guys, I don't believe I'm gonna place, because I think that they're adding the attractiveness, or reduce, I should say, in this regard. So I think I'm not gonna make it on this island, and I'm gonna make it somewhere else. Maybe take the other bigger island and just have them delivered here and have like a big, you know, manufacturing thing on it. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. I guess I need to go through and see how many of them will need, etc. Anyway, so I'm just placing all of the subway stations. So only one small one. Apart from that, I'm using the bigger ones because it just makes sense, I presume. However, I just thought of this. I hope that it was fixed, but I think when you were placing it, you know, the radius was much bigger to what it was once it was built. So I've only placed few of them, and I think we'll end up having more and more, I suppose. Anyway, so as you can see now, I'm jumping into kind of, I don't know what I'm doing here, to be quite honest. Yeah, like the shape of it is just so weird. But look, bear with me, you know, it's kind of work in progress, I suppose. But I kind of wanted the track to go through the palace just to make it a bit more lively. Obviously, not something that I would ever see ever, but something different. So you'll see me in just a moment. I'll add once you kind of add ornaments, whatever. This kind of looks apart, but trust the process for a while. But yeah, there's some things here that I'm kind of like, you know, what am I doing with the tracks and where am I going and whatever. But it does turn out to be okay in the end, I think. Ish. You know, I don't want to get too excited, I suppose. music is very unsettling or something. But yeah, here we go. So what I find good with those places, so if it's the palace or generally an area where you kind of want to do things, you'll see me in just a moment. I kind of do want to have walkways, but adding actually this is almost ready. But yeah, adding the square thingies, what's it called, the plaza ornaments, wherever they are. So I'll be so basically what I like doing is to blueprint the entire area of it with those ornaments, with the plazas. So then it makes it much easier in terms of just to kind of going in and deleting here and there, whatever, because then it looks apart, I think, when you just add a building here and there, whatever, and then you don't have to worry about, oh, what else am I going to place here and there, if that makes sense, because you already have them, and it does look well together. So because we have a station here, and as I said, the place will look busier with the trains going back and forth, I thought that it'll make sense to have the, what are they, the luggage, I suppose, yeah, just next to the station. But then I thought to myself, it kind of doesn't make sense to have it in the middle of the tracks. So I'm gonna remove it and make it actually accessible to the people, if that makes sense. Which will be here by the road. But anyway, so time to have actually proper ornaments. So these are the best, but look, there wasn't anything else I could find. Which was actually quite surprising. Maybe again, not all of them are unlocked, because let's say the one for the tower isn't here. I couldn't find it, and etc. But so I just, in the end, I just left these guys. I know it's fine. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, right? So these guys just make sense here, I suppose. And probably I shouldn't have placed so many of them, but that's okay. It's fine. But do you see what I meant with, the place kind of comes alive? I feel like it looks quite well, to make it kind of busy like this, whatever. Anyway, instead of something that wouldn't load, I've decided to just have trees. And then some sort of like a kiosk or like a little shop or something, for people departing, whatever. So that's basically what I was going for. And then it's easy then to just come along and, delete thing or two here and there. Now I was kind of done with the palace at this point, so I didn't finish it. I thought to myself, yeah, I need to move away from this because, sometimes when you're doing something for a bit too long, you're like, oh, this again. So yeah. Anyway, so because, it's time as well to have some sort of zoos and whatever, just to kind of blueprint it, I started placing everything here. Honestly, I'm not focusing on as I usually would. So what I'm going to do is just plaster this entire area with as many as we can. I'm not going to go into all the sets being done and whatever, as I usually do. And the reason behind it is that we really have no space, and I prefer to have more people rather than, unless we'll move it, right, and then we'll have something else. Anyway, so I just deleted this hotel and I was like, oh, let me just have more houses. But then hold on a moment, maybe it'll be better to have few restaurants or something like that in there. Anyway, so here we go. It's time now to have few of those tourist buildings and things like that. So the routes needs to be affected. They need to be rerouted and added and whatever, because I've realized that I'm actually not delivering it I guess before, because of the influence really affecting that decision. But now we don't have to really worry about it, so it's fine. As you can see, it's 830. And that's without adding any ships, right? Any warships. So I'm producing all of the ships here, and I will change that, I suppose. However, what's interesting is that we'll actually need some people for it, which you'll see in just a moment. So I thought that was quite interesting. But yeah, so you know now what I meant by adding all those ships. It was quite it's quite a supply chain. You can see the notifications all the time about that's the only thing I don't like about those. The construction has stopped, the construction has paused, every 2 minutes. And especially if we're constructing, I don't know, maybe 10 of them. Those subway stations, you're getting, every 2 minutes a notification about every single one of them. It's a bit too much. so at least you don't have to look at it right now, but yeah, it's one of those things. So there you go. That's really pretty much Crown Falls. When it comes to the tourists, although not really, because we need shampoos and then lemonade. But for the moment, what I'm looking at is the how to speed up the concrete factories. So we've everything apart from these items, and this is because this is what I was just saying a moment ago. I actually want to construct the steam shipyards over here just to produce some ships. The only problem with that is that you then need to get the items from Crown Falls over to this place and whatever. But at least, let's say, if there's a need for, like the warships, whatever, it'll be quicker, do it here rather than have them produced in one region and then transferred to the other. So it just makes sense. And I probably will do something similar in the old world because of for the exact fact, right? And especially if the AIs are the strongest in that region. Right, so we will look at Mbesa for a while as well, because we need to get things going there. But before we do that, I just want to grab those items and place them in the trade union that we actually, I've placed and never used it. But yeah, this will speed up things for us, hopefully. Well, just a small bit, I presume. But then I thought to myself, why don't I have more? Why do I have only 4? Only because they fit in that little space. So yeah, I will add 1 or 2. Anyway, so I've realized that, I knew this and I remember this from before, that the Angela, Meg, whatever, she does not affect those factories. So you do need an actual power plant. So what I'm doing is that I will use that one uranium deposit here to have it produced here basically and being brought over to the other island. Now this requires quite a lot of materials, so for the moment we're not in position to do it. So what I'm gonna do is that we need to place the harbor. However, I just realized that the harbor in Mbesa cannot be made out of the materials that we all use everywhere else. It needs to be made out of these things. So that's basically what it is. So that's okay. This island will be used for, indigo or whatever else we may need. So I'm confused by this building. I don't know what it's for, but I decided to leave it. I think it's like an extra pier for the oil, but you would need to have so much oil because one is more than sufficient on Mbesa. I mean, it would be useful for on other islands, but on Mbesa, I never saw a need for even more, but yeah, I guess whatever. Anyway, so that's what it is here. I'm just adding the you know, the buildings. The TEF is needed for the bricks or whatever they're called. No, there are bricks. So that's pretty much it. And then that island will produce away slowly. I already have production of not production, but delivery of clay from the old world, so that's fine. So there you go. I have the ship. I think he's called the Petroleer. The Petroleer is just because he's got the item included, so he won't be attacked. And actually I didn't realize that this item can be taken off. So I was like, oh, maybe I can give him the other item, because the other item is just making them go faster. But it wouldn't work, so it's just included with the ship and that's it. So that's fine, you know, those are fine. Anyway, so now we need pamphlets. That's the only thing that they do need. So I'm thinking, what am I gonna do here? And I was actually considering, will I ever use this oil? And I will never, actually, so no point. And one pamphlet producer is fine as well. It's just because this island has the paper and whatever, so just to save, you know, transporting paper elsewhere and producing it, it just makes sense, just to make it on that island. Anyway, so the concrete again, so as you can see, I'm adding one building. Probably I should have added more, but it's okay, because then I thought to myself, well, it's only needed for now, right? Later we won't need that much of it. And like Crown Falls is absolutely full of concrete, and look at the amount of materials here. Somehow as well, the storage keeps growing on that island, so I'm not understanding why, to be quite honest. Like we haven't done anything to make that happen. But yeah, it's something to do with the palace. I don't know what's increasing it, but it's increasing it. Maybe because of the I've placed a couple of, what's their name, Harbor Master Office, whatever, so maybe that. Anyway, so we're going strong with all the deliveries. The fertilizer needs to be brought to Mbesa as well. I probably will need another ship for it at some point. And then we just need to bring, you know, those materials just to kind of speed things up, because it's way too slow. The only thing is that, you know, having the oil harbor over there, it's exposing it, right? So it'll be difficult to defend it without a ship or two being placed there, because it's an easy target on Mbesa. Anyway, I'm just looking at the different islands and what's going on here and there while we're waiting for the delivery. Yeah, so this is now delivered. It'll be producing uranium. I am not I'm not delivering, or I'm not making it just yet, because we have no power, and power is kind of needed, you know, just to kind of start things and properly make them. And also, problem with the uranium is we have a ship already delivering it from Crown Falls. I guess we'll just need another ship. It's just the problem is basically that if we were to deliver it to this island, by the time it'll fill it up, the other island may run out, basically, if that makes sense, you know. So that's a bit of a trade-off in that regard. Anyway, so I'm jumping between the sessions and adding more ships. That's the name of the game in this episode. This time we need to supply, you know, the big factories, basically. I think what I'll do for the uranium is that I'll have a ship going basically from Old World to Cape Trelawney. And they'll be stealing from one another, if that makes sense. Because right now we've 2 uranium deposits on Crown Falls, but that supplies, I think, 1.5 times over, or maybe twice, of the the factory, or whatever it's called, the power plant. So yeah. Oh, this is not my favorite build. I mean, it actually is so bad. I don't understand why is it so bad. The post office for the tourists. Yeah, I actually don't understand why it's so bad. It almost looks like part of something, and I think, you know, it is, and I've tried it before, but yeah, it didn't work for me. Probably I'm not understanding what's it for, to be honest. Anyway, so you see me now, the steam shipyards being added. There was a little attack, so we're getting those notifications all the time. And I don't know if you guys spotted, but I figured out why we're getting so many notifications, because those stations need lime, and we have no lime here. I mean, the lime is produced, don't get me wrong, it's just obviously not enough, especially that the other guy is taking it away to that other island for the concrete production. So there you go. I'm just looking at this area. It seems that we actually need a couple of more of these guys, because the requirement for whatever is met, so, you know, I just decided to have that, I presume. So there you go, we're gonna go with that. Only few are needed, so that's really all it is, just for everything to unlock. So as you can see, I'm just placing those buildings. Yeah, and I'm really wanting to connect everything in a straight line, but look, it's not working, so it is what it is. And then I actually figured that these areas, they're actually not too bad, because they can be covered by the fences and whatever, so that's what we're gonna have. So you'll see me trying a lot of different things. There's actually one thing I've never done before, ever, which you'll see me doing. I'm actually very happy with the way it turned out. Yeah. And I'll talk about it in just a moment. I'm just kind of trying things out, and so the biggest thing that I figured what would work here is the workers, what you call it, pack, is it called, the workers? But you know what I mean, it's basically the industrial pack, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is that, so I'm just placing those things here and there, trying to figure out these things, and then I stumbled upon, I'm like, what is this? I've never really, I don't want to say I've never seen it, but like, what is it? Like, how come I have not seen this before or used it before? So I was like, it's a train station, you know, maybe we should use it somehow. So you'll see me kind of trying things out and testing it, I suppose. But yeah, I really like it. You know, because it actually adds variety to the game in a way of it looks like a station, but it's not, if that makes sense. But yeah, it does really work, especially when you have to put 3 of those tracks, like in this place. So then I thought to myself, well, this will really work well here in this area where we've got, you know, the soldiers and like the families would need to arrive, and, you know, for meetups and whatever they're doing. So that's basically the idea here, especially that it's so close to the harbor. I think it really looks very well. So I want to make things even, you know, so they kind of look apart, I suppose. And because the platforms are actually quite busy, yeah, I think it looks really, really good. And then I'm just adding the fence. I did think that there was a fence, like a wire fence, but yeah, I'm mistaken. Oh, I don't like this. So the inner side of the fence is facing outward all the time. So this is so annoying. So I'm just trying to wiggle, and I'm actually clicking to change the direction of it, but it's just not working. So I give up in the end. So yeah, so that's basically what's going on. Over here I'm trying more things out. So I found this, I actually don't know what it's for. I think it's like for a big station. So I said, oh, well, let's just place it over here and whatever. But I didn't like it in the end. But you'll see in just a moment what I mean. Because I was like, oh, maybe let's do it like an entrance, you know, in a way of, you know, when you like when you trying to get through like a secure area, there's like a gate kind of a thing, right? Or like a security office, whatever. It's just I didn't like it because you have people standing there, so it kind of looks weird. But yeah, so I'm just going ahead with the construction materials, and that's pretty much what I'm adding here. So that's pretty much it, guys, for this area. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's really fitting the, you know, the army guys, I suppose. There's definitely a lot more, but for the moment I'm kind of done with this area. Let's just see, the fort is completed. It's a big building. I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to use it, and it also doesn't really fit the area, but look, it's okay. There's definitely a use for it, I suppose. Once we go to the war with Admiral, maybe we'll be able to use it and see it in action, I suppose. But yeah, for the moment, that's everything, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and stay hooked.